Right. Thank you for joining us. I'm Becky Tuttle, and it is my honor and privilege to be the City Council member representing District 2. Very glad to have you all with us this evening. We're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we have Karen, our city clerk, who's with us, and she is going to do the swearing in ceremony. So Karen, it's all yours.
Is there any way I can see Jennifer's, actually see her?
Jennifer, if you
That's
can
possible.
turn your camera on just for a moment, we actually need to see you be sworn in, and Tracy as well. And we don't care if you have your jammies on.
I didn't hear what you said.
We have to see you actually to swear you in, if that's okay, Tracy, just for a second.
Oh, no.
I know, that's what we said. I bet this is the day you wear your jammies. So that's okay.
Just
You're
got out of the
beautiful.
shower.
There you go.
Yeah, you look great. Perfect.
If you just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I,
I, Alicia Sanchez,
solemnly swear that I will support
solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the
Constitution
Constitution
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the
and the
Constitution
Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of the District 2 Advisory Board
of the
of the
District
District
Two
Advisory
Advisory
Board
for the city of Wichita, Kansas, so help me God.
for the city of Wichita.
So help me God.
And if you would just sign your oath, and then there is a certificate of acceptance that needs signed also, and I'll come around and pick it up.
So Karen,
That's our
would you,
signature on this.
Yes.
would you mind telling
Right.
Tracy and Jennifer and Alicia what will happen for them?
Yes, we'll go ahead and mail your paperwork to you for your signatures. And then we'll have an envelope in there, self-addressed stamped envelope that you can just mail back to us so we can get it in our file.
Do you want to swear Bruce in real quick since he's here?
Sure. I'd like to.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Fine.
Bruce, you get your own
I
ceremony.
so swear, private ceremony. Oh, I missed it?
Yeah, you did.
I
just
apologize.
seconds ago. If you could just
Okay.
raise your right hand, just
Okay,
read that aloud, please.
I, Bruce Gass, solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Kansas, and faithfully discharge the duties of District 2 Advisory Board for the city of Wichita, Kansas, so help me God.
And if you wouldn't mind signing,
Okay,
I'll wait for you, and then I'll need one more document signed.
okay. Apologize for making you do
That's
this
okay.
twice.
No worries.
Better than having to go through City Hall and meet you at your office.
You know, you're making her do overtime.
She went shopping. She's okay. There you go. Your space. All right. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate you. Karen is actually retiring this summer, and we're all sad.
Congratulations to you.
She does a great job. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
We will go ahead and call the meeting to order. So what we'll do is we'll start from up here for the District Advisory Board members present, and then we'll make sure we get the ones who are joining us virtually. If you just please introduce yourself and what neighborhood you're representing. And in District 2, we always like to say what our favorite thing about Wichita is, and you can't repeat what someone else said. So not ever, just tonight. Roman, you can start.
Excellent. Roman Rodriguez. I live in Sycamore Village. And this week we're coming up on Easter Sunday in just a few short days. And so I'm really thankful for our faith communities here in the city of Wichita. When I moved here multiple years ago, we kind of looked at different churches and felt the love and warmth of so many here in Wichita. And so I'm grateful for the various faith communities that we have here in our great city.
That's one. Thank you.
Hi, Bruce Gass. I live in Chisholm Creek Homeowners Association area. And I think this will be year 9 on 2 different boards for me. And I gotta say, the Wichita YMCA is like world class.
Yeah.
You just can't beat that with a stick.
So I have to say, before I was on council, I worked at the YMCA. I was the executive director of community development, so all things not swim and gym. And the Greater Wichita YMCA is considered the model for the nation.
Oh, man, it's super.
I'm Sam Lindeman. I represent Bonnie Bray area. And I just noticed today, I guess not just today, but I was running a little late and our nice speed limits and our nice smooth streets. I got here from Andover in 15 minutes.
Wow, that's great. If you, we don't want to know if you
No,
didn't.
it's,
speed.
no. Close to the speed limit.
Close to the speed limit. Okay,
John Baker and I represent Pine Meadows homeowners. And I like the positive development that's going on in Wichita right now.
yeah, that's awesome.
Faith Martin. I represent the East Ridge Neighborhood Association, and I'm excited next week because we're going to another amazing Broadway Wichita show, and I re-upped our tickets, and Hamilton is coming
Yeah.
next year, so we're very, very lucky that we get such high caliber shows, so I'm super excited.
And who did you say is coming?
Hamilton
Hamilton.
is coming next
Okay.
year. Really excited about it. So we're very lucky in Wichita to have such great theater, performing arts, culture, all of our performing arts is really, really great, but it's coming, just FYI.
Corey?
My name is Corey Buckler, the Community Service Representative for District 2. And I'm going to preempt what my favorite thing is, because in a few years, my favorite thing is going to be Top Golf.
Yep, next year, next April, if everything's on schedule, so super excited. All right, I'll call up the folks on Zoom just so we can get everybody. Alicia,
Good evening, everyone. Alicia Sanchez, also representing Sycamore Village. My favorite thing about Wichita, we went to the Evergreen Library opening this weekend. And so our library system, we spent 4 hours. My child, he's 9, and he absolutely loved it. And he loves the Advanced Learning Library. We get over to Rockwell as well. So we're just very fortunate to have such great libraries in proximity that provide a wide variety of services.
Savannah is grinning ear to ear, so good on you. Jennifer,
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer McDonald representing Dublin Court. One of my favorite things about Wichita is Exploration Place. There's so many cool things to do inside and outside of that building. And Death by Chocolate is coming up, which we will be in attendance and pouring our wine. So really excited about Exploration Place. And I think they have some exciting things coming up as far as a capital raise and expanding their facility and even creating greater things here in the future.
yeah, so I think it's Wednesday, they're gonna be doing their ribbon cutting for their Inside Out. And I helped with one of the very first health exhibits they had probably a decade ago. And so I've asked the Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of Commerce to come and join us at the event on Wednesday. So, because it's such a great economic driver for our region and just a great amenity. So yay, I'm glad you.
Absolutely. Very
Thank you.
cool.
Tracy, last but not least, for sure.
Good evening, everyone. Tracy Adams. I represent the Pine Meadows area, community or neighborhood. And so for the last month, I've been traveling a lot, and I've been going through airports, under airports. And I'll just have to tell you, my favorite thing about Wichita right now, and even now I'm speaking to you in Washington, D.C., is our airport. I just absolutely appreciate the short walks and the conveniences. So hats off to whoever whose bright idea that is our airport.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love the skywalks. I think sometimes people forget we're one of the only few airports in the nation that have glass skywalks.
Yep.
So when I go to other airports, I think, oh, we're so much cooler than there. So
Mhm.
awesome. Thank you for joining us, Tracy. And I know you're out of town, so thank you. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. So we'll keep moving right along. The next agenda item is approval of this evening's agenda. I would entertain a motion.
Bruce moves.
Thank you, Bruce. How about a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sam. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Anyone?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Next is approval of the minutes. Corey sent them out Thursday. Did you get them out? Was it Thursday or
I
Friday?
sent the link out today, but there is a change I need to make. It said that the meeting was called to order by Becky Tuttle, and I need to change that to Johnson.
That's right.
Yeah, well,
Thank
what's
you
his
for
name?
catching
What's
that.
whoever that was.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was in DC, so it's the first time, like, I don't know, 8 years I wasn't here. So awesome. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes for March 14th of 2022.
I'll move with the correction or second it. Whichever.
Okay, so Bruce, how about you move with
I'll
the
second.
correction with Faith? Okay. And if you weren't here, remember to abstain. So all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Okay, and anyone need to abstain?
Alicia does.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So we don't have any public agenda items scheduled. We do have off agenda items. So we have 2 sets of guests this evening. If anybody wants to make any public comments, you have 3 minutes if you want to make any comments about anything. Don't have to if you're just here to observe, but just want to give you the opportunity. All right, thank you very much. We will just keep moving along then, and we'll go to staff reports. We'll start with fire. So don't forget, you have to introduce yourself and your favorite things about Wichita. Oh, the pressure, your face was like, yeah, please, yes.
Councilwoman Tuttle, board
Just
members. My name is Colby Robertson. I'm a captain with the Wichita Fire Department, currently filling in as a battalion chief in the 3rd Battalion, which is East Wichita. The month of March, Wichita Fire responded to 4 fires in your district for a total structure loss of $105,000 and contents loss of $46,000. 2 of those fires were undetermined. 1 was natural causes and 1 was accidental. That's really all I have for you, except remember that April is burn ban for everyone, and tomorrow is supposed to be catastrophic.
In terms of the
with
wind.
Winds, yeah, high fire danger tomorrow. So,
I
that's all I
saw
have.
on my car, it gives me alerts and it says there's counties that are already under
Yeah,
a
yeah.
high wind advisory for tomorrow.
That's all I have for you.
Do we have any questions?
I'm sorry,
Thank you very much.
Well,
can you tell me what those 2 numbers were, the 105,000?
that is dollar loss to structure,
Structure.
and a smaller number with dollar loss to contents, like personal items.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All
Have a good
right,
evening.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. Be
Thank
safe. All right, community policing report.
I'm here for later on the agenda.
Okay, so Corey, did we get?
Yep.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Pardon me. I need to look behind me. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you all?
Good. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me. My name is Officer Stephanie Roberts. I work out of the Wichita Police Department East Bureau. I am currently and temporarily assigned to the community policing team out east as the 37 beat coordinator. And so I've only been on the team for a couple weeks and I'm learning a lot. I'm really excited about it. So I'm really happy to have you all here. And Sam, I know I've gotten some emails in regards to your correspondence. I really look forward to getting with you and talking with you about some of your concerns or just talking with you about your neighborhood. So I have quite a bit to talk about tonight. Our team is very busy coordinating a lot of public functions. Like I said, I'm fairly new to this, so it's kind of like me trying to drink from a fire hose, but I'm diving into it. I will say that I came up here from a small town to Wichita to go to Wichita State University, and I attended that. I happily graduated, so my favorite thing about Wichita is our university. Go Shocks! So we are in the Easter season. And I also am in awe of the support from our churches and the types of events that they put together. I had the pleasure of attending an event that was put together by Vima Church at Edgemoor Park this past Saturday. And they also held an event at Linwood Park. It was great to be there. The fire department was also there. I brought a patrol car. They brought a fire truck. And the correspondence with the community that showed up and the diversity of everyone there. It was just a really great event. And I was very pleased to have been a part of that and amazed at the work that the church did to put that together. This next Saturday is Easter in Hilltop at Friendship Park. That is April the 16th from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. And so I encourage anyone who's wanting to attend. It should be a really good event. Our community policing team out east will be present. Our team is also putting together 2 different tournaments for charities. The first one is a cornhole tournament. And that's going to take place on May the 7th to benefit Honor Flight. Now, before I joined the community policing team, I had never heard of these folks. So if you haven't heard of them before, it is a network of people who raise money to send veterans out to the memorials in Washington, D.C. That trip is completely free of cost. So it's just a wonderful way to connect to that community and thank them for their service. We are also advertising a golf tournament that will be benefiting the USD 259 school district. And that's going to take place on June the 3rd. And so if anyone has interest in golf or cornhole, we should get some advertisements out on our social media page soon. And we're looking at, that's going to be a really fun event. We have raffles that we've acquired from members of our community and business leaders. They've been very gracious in supporting us. And so any interest, we would love to see you guys out there. I have an email here from one of the community policing officers up north, Officer Ryan Snyder. He is out of the North Bureau. He emailed me some things that I can mention during this meeting. He had a hotel at 3741 North Rock Road that had housed several trigger events, and he served them with a nuisance abatement process. The owner has been receptive to that and is implementing procedures to deter further issues. And a project was opened to track the activity at that location. Officer Snyder also worked with the Joan Barron Jewish Community Center in regards to some threats that they received. And Officer Stark and Terry Moses conducted a site survey, and they actually were able to coordinate explosive ordnance disposal canines to go out to that location and do a sweep before and after the events that celebrated the Israel Independence Day. So some wonderful work going on from our teams, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be helping during the process. So that's all I have for right now.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes,
Officer?
please, ma'am.
So the golf tournament, is that through the police foundation?
They are helping.
Okay.
We're kind of, we're collaborating to get the funds and everything put together. We have sponsors who are going to sponsor holes for the tournament. And that's kind of where all of our funds are going through.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Any questions for Officer Roberts?
Just look forward to meeting you.
Yeah.
I look forward to meeting you as well. So,
And I hope you're not temporary. We've had too many temporary community officers lately.
hey, I would love, I started my career on 37 beat on second shift. I would love to come back.
I got your name on this still.
You probably do. So, hey, hit up my captain, Captain Corey, and tell him that you want me here to stay.
Text me his name and I'll do that.
Got it. You can. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Be safe.
Thank you as well. Bye-bye.
Service. All right, John, blow us away with Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
All righty. Name's John Sidwell, Recreation Supervisor out at Boston Rec Center and also Goldenrod and Hilltop Facilities. I was going to say one of my favorite things about Wichita was all the bright colors coming to life right now. But since the YMCA got a plug, of course, got to throw out love for Park and Rec. So, I thought I'd just go ahead and say I appreciate all the events that we're offering and assisting with WPD in our parks and things like that. As far as this last weekend, we had our Easter extravaganza at Watson Park, where we had where kids could come and they could do the egg hunts, do some jelly bean contests, take photos with the Easter Bunny. And that had a pretty good turnout. It didn't seem like it was as big of a turnout as we've had in the past, but we've got a lot of good comments on the event. Then this coming weekend at Boston Rec Center, we have a Berry Crew event that I'm running called Let's Glow Crazy. And it's going to be kind of like a black light themed with carnival games, face painting, and just photo ops and opportunities there for kids ages 6 to 13 years old from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, the 16th. Also, Boston Park has gone under construction for the basketball court. They're on site. They currently have everything laid as far as the concrete goes. We're just kind of waiting for the basketball goals to be installed and the lines painted on the concrete. The old basketball court has already been backfilled, and they're out there today kind of leveling that out for safety reasons. Then, of course, right now, our busy time of year with camps, we have our summer discovery sites. We have summer activity campsites. Then I at Boston run specialty camps and tech camps that people are available to sign up for. And the duration of the summer starting at the beginning of June, running through August. And then also Park and Rec did the NCAA Fan Fest, and that had a great turnout. Everyone seemed to have a lot of fun. It was neat seeing, so many different people coming from different states and celebrating, basketball. So that was a fun event to kind of be part of. Then we have some events that are coming up. We have our Once Upon a Time on Saturday, April 16th, as well at Old Cowtown Museum. We also have our Civil War weekend coming up April 23rd and 24th at Old Cowtown Museum. And then we also have Open Streets ICT at Nomar Sunday, May 1st. That's coming up from 12 to 4 p.m. And then there's also the Wichita Festival of the Arts on Saturday, May 7th at Central Riverside Park. And then Come Fly a Kite on Saturday, May 7th from 11 to 4 at Chapin Park. But outside of that, that's all I have, as far as an update for today.
And in case everybody didn't get all the awesome events, it's in the Evolve, right?
Yes, it's in the Evolve on page 8 in our calendar of events.
Any questions for John? All right, thank you, John. Thanks for all you do. I know your busy season's coming up, so good luck.
All right, thank you.
You take care. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Savannah, last but not least, welcome back. How's the new someone to love?
Great. She's tiny.
She's tiny.
Yeah, she's very little. She still fits in newborn clothes. She's almost 4 months old.
Wow.
And she sleeps through the night.
Oh, that's
All right.
You should have brought her.
I know.
Yeah. We could have just passed her around.
My husband would appreciate it.
Well, welcome back.
Thank
We
you.
missed you. Thank you for being here this evening.
Yeah. So I'm just going to highlight a couple things. Throughout the month, we'll continue offering COVID-19 vaccination clinics at 2 of our locations. So on Mondays, residents can come to the Walters branch, which is at 4195 East Harry from 3 to 7 p.m. And then on Tuesdays, residents can come to the Alfred branch, which is 3447 South Meridian from 3 to 7. And that is a partnership with the Sedgwick County Health Department. And the clinic provides no-cost Johnson & Johnson for ages 18 and older and Pfizer for ages 5 and older. And then our monthly Tuesday Topics program on Tuesday, April 26th from noon to 1 p.m. at the Advanced Learning Library will focus on homelessness in Wichita. Wichita's annual snapshot of homelessness shows that there are more than 600 individuals who are without secure housing, living on the streets, in shelters, or in temporary housing. And many of them are also experiencing mental health issues. So what is being done to address the needs of those who are experiencing homelessness? So join us to learn from a panel of speakers who are working on the front lines to find solutions for this challenge. And then the last thing is here at Rockwell and a lot of our other locations, we are still looking for summer team volunteers who will help us with our summer reading program. They'll do sign up, help us with programs and activities. To become a team volunteer, we just have you fill out a short application. You have to be entering grades 8 to 12 in the fall. That's all I have for you.
Any questions?
What was the date on that Advanced Learning Library?
Tuesday, April 26th from noon to 1.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to Corey. Back in March, I was supposed to do the Tuesday Topics on food deserts and the master food plan. And I can't remember what was going on that day at council.
Workshop.
It was a workshop, that's right. And so I texted Corey about an hour before and said, can you go for me? And he filled in and did a great job. And we've done this presentation together before, but he did a great job. So thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for saving the day. So who would have thought that it would have lasted that long? I can't even remember what the topic was, but we were there a long time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And teams can just come in and the application will just be here.
Yep, we have applications at the desk, but we also have them online. You can print them and bring them in.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Savannah. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Have a great evening. All right, next on the agenda, new business. We have our police is going to talk to us about the mapping program.
Before I forget, I keep forgetting, April 23rd, Saturday, 17th and Oliver, we're having a biking with police event.
Oh, nice.
Entire public's welcome, 8 o'clock, to park at the WSU. I keep forgetting that and all the dads I talk to. So I'm Charlie Byers. I'm a community policing officer for Patrol North. And I've been on the job for, it's my 21st year. I've been assigned to Patrol North for the last 6 years, specifically on 42 beat, which is Central and Broadway to 17th and Hydraulic. And the command staff of the department has asked me to speak at all 6 staffs about our mapping programs. We've actually had them since the 90s, but a lot of folks even don't know they exist, and I've expanded upon them. So I'm a huge history fan, and also I forgot, my favorite part of Wichita is the zoo. I don't know if you've ever been to zoos like Atlanta. Our zoo kicks their butt.
It really does.
Yeah, it's huge, huge, huge. And the 20-year plan that the zoo just came out with earlier or late last year, that's awesome.
It
It's
is.
gonna turn us into Disney. It's gonna be awesome. So today I'm a huge history guy. Today I get to talk to you about Russia, serial killers. I get to talk to you about Bill Clinton. I get to talk to you about all sorts of stuff and what in the world that has to do with Wichita Police Department. So.
You do a really good like buildup,
So,
right?
also,
In the theater.
I talk quickly and I talk loudly, so if anybody at home, if I'm being too loud, just tell me, hey, slow down, take a breath, we'll be quiet. We're good. So back in 1989, Russia was kind enough to be the first ever host for the Goodwill Games. And it was so successful, America hosted it the next year. It was decided that Seattle, Tacoma area would host the second annual Goodwill Games, but the first on American soil. Well, they had a problem. A little guy named Gary Leon Ridgway, who you probably know as the Green River Killer. He loved the area of Seattle and Tacoma so much that all 48 of his victims came from there. Specifically, 24 confirmed kills and a nice 7-mile stretch that when you land at the Seattle airport, you get to drive right through there. 7-mile stretch on old Highway 99. Well, Seattle was a big fan of this. And they had this 7-mile stretch. They had massage parlors. They had adult bookstores. They had adult video stores. They had ripped by the hour motels, prostitution, Johns, drugs, you name it, it was there. It was a giant smorgasbord for Mr. Ridgway. And it was so lax that he just went ahead and left 7 of his victims there by the roadside of his 48 kills. So Seattle's got the whole world's eye going to be on him in 1990. So they decide, well, let's rezone this and to the point, let's create a new town. New town takes the first 3 letters of Seattle, first 3 letters of Tacoma, call themselves SeaTac. And SeaTac puts a lot of new laws into effect, such as, but not limited to, can't have it by the hour hotels. You can't prostitution, guess what? It's going to be illegal to the point it's an emphasis area, meaning if you get arrested for a sex crime in the 7-mile stretch, you get to stay in jail longer, you get to pay higher fines. And what they decided to do is let's go ahead and mark this territory. And we're gonna rename it, Old Highway 99 is gone. That was Green River Killer territory. We're gonna name it International Boulevard. And we're gonna make it pretty. We're gonna pump a bunch of money into it. They literally erected 125 flagpoles along this area. With some nice Goodwill coming soon to you, Goodwill flags at the top of these flagpoles. They mapped it out. They call it flagging here, which is how we call it mapping. And in this 7-mile area, that was bordered right into their laws. If you got arrested for a crime there, you serve more jail time and you longer sentences. It was so effective. 11% reduction in overall crime for the entire area, which is huge just by enforcing 7 miles. 41% reduction in all sex crimes, 47% reduction in all drug crimes. Great success. So successful, in fact, they started teaching other departments worldwide. Wichita, some notable names, current brand new police chief, Jeff Weibel out in Mays, Kansas. Current county manager, Tom Stoltz, and a bunch of others went to this training, brought it back, gave a presentation to command staff, and they said, we love it, let's take it to city council. City council says, yes, this is awesome. And they enacted 5.62.215, which is the Broadway emphasis area. And it's been on the books. Since
Why would you make
1994.
Broadway of all places?
I know. So the area they said, well, you know what, they identified, they pulled the data, identified North Broadway from Waterman, 21st Street North, from Waco to Washington. That's an emphasis area. South Broadway from Waterman 47th Street South, Main to Washington, emphasis area. And in my 20 years, I've never seen a problem with it that's still on the books. They had a problem at the time with East Central. So East Central basically from Washington up to Hillside, 2nd Street to, I believe, Central, just a small little narrow stretch. They're illegal as there as well. So still to this day, it's a one strike rule. You get arrested for picking up a prostitute, you get arrested for being a prostitute in this area, you are banned from that area for 1 year. That is your minimum sentence. You drive down the street, officer recognizes you, you get to go to jail because it's a crime for you to be there. So 6 years ago, I got assigned at Patrol North. They said, I applied for community policing. They said, where do you want? I said, anywhere but Patrol North. They gave me Patrol North. So where do you want to go? Anywhere but Broadway. They gave me Broadway. Like, yeah.
That's how
So,
we roll.
yeah, I was east side for 14 years, but I wanted to try something completely different, which is west side, south side. I wanted to see what Old Town had to offer me for fighting crime. They gave me Broadway. My first day on Broadway, first hour on Broadway, business owners fist fighting with a guy. I'm like, what in the world am I getting into? This is a different animal than what I'm used to. So Captain White, who's now has retired from the police department, he's now under Sheriff White, he's under Sheriff for Sheriff Easter. And he's notices, he's my captain 6 years ago, notices an increase, as I'm taking over Broadway, increase in violent crime. So says, let's do something about this. Aggravated assaults are up by over 100%. We need to do something about this. The solution, dedicate 2 officers who all they did was Broadway. They didn't answer 911 calls. They didn't go anywhere else. They stayed on Broadway, be a visible presence and to fight crime. 90-day rotation. The first 2 were now Detective Estrada and retired officer Travis Hallinger were the first 2 to do it. 90-day assignment. We worked 4 days a week, so they actually had 62 work days. In these 62 work days, they made 90 arrests. They contacted 588 citizens and wrote 110 cases. So they did some great work. Well, at 1230 North Broadway, there's a business called the Otto Motel. They recognized a drug dealer at the Otto Motel. He's very well known. We all know him on Broadway. He's under 30 years old. He's already done time in 4 different prisons in Kansas for dealing drugs. So they developed this confidential informant. They sent him in, or her in. I don't know what the gender was because it's confidential even to me. And was able to make a narcotics arrest or narcotics buy. He was kind enough to sell them cocaine. So they took this information to the 18th district judge. And the judge says, I'll give you a search warrant, officers. Officers went in, did a search warrant and found counterfeit money. Actually, it's a paraphernalia. He'd already sold out of the stock. Not enough to put him away for a long time, but triggering enough for a probation hearing. He's on Sedgwick County probation for being a drug dealer. Officer Hallinger gets subpoenaed to this. And he's asked the DA, the assistant DA who's meeting there, says, hey, can we map it? And she says, what's mapping? I had no idea, because it's only through the city. So he explains to her what mapping is and why mapping exists. And she says, that's awesome. Let's run this up to flagpole, see if you can do it. So she talks to the judge during the hearing, talks to the defendant and his attorney, and they all agree this would be a good thing because he keeps committing crimes on Broadway, so let's take him off of Broadway. Almost all law enforcement worldwide universally we have what's called a crime triangle. Be it jaywalking or homicide, it's true with any crime. You have to have a location for a crime to occur. You have to have a suspect and you have to have a victim. You take away one of those 3 and the crime by definition cannot exist. So we're going to take 2 legs. We're going to take the defendant out of the area and take the area away from the defendant. Crime can't occur. So what we're doing here is to reduce recidivism and to keep people away from their trigger areas. We instituted mapping only through drug court. Drug court is it's part of the Sedgwick County Crime Reduction Plan, part of their master comprehensive plan. It's been enacted since 2007, and at any point in time, you can only have 120 people in this area. And to get on drug court, you have to first be arrested of a felony drug crime, and then you have to screw up. You have to get back in front of the judge because you did something stupid and got arrested again. It's kind of your last resort before you go to prison or you go back to county jail. They have to apply to be in it, and then I look up their history. Prostitution mapping is a 1-strike law. We wanted to go above and beyond that. So we just look at their overall history through drug court, and if you keep committing crimes in the maps, I recommend them for mapping to the DA's office. The DA recommends that to the judge and to the defense counsel, and if they still want to volunteer for the program, they can. We'll just map them out of that area if they understand why. So 3 years ago, I wanted to do a little bit more. So the drug court director is the same as the county corrections director. She says, hey, can we address violent crime with this? I said, heck yeah, we can. So we looked at the data. The data tells us that in these two Broadway maps, and this is an astounding figure. I was shocked by this figure. In a 5-year period, 713 gang members committed 2,866 violent crimes. My dad sounds like a good place to start. If you commit almost 3,000 violent crimes in your one definable set of the society, let's address that. So now if you're on community corrections, and by the way, I'm in community, I skipped over a part, and it's kind of an important part. I mentioned Bill Clinton earlier. Let's talk about Bill Clinton. Crime reduction was huge back when we enacted the prostitution mapping, to the point that Bill Clinton calls Janet Reno, and Janet Reno says, hey, I was gonna do an impersonation, but I don't think I could do a correct Bill Clinton impersonation, so I'll skip over that. Says, hey, Miss Reno, would you do me a favor? Would you call Bob Knight? Bob Knight, we all know Bob Knight, huge in our county, in our city. And Bob Knight is very proud, and is, we got a quote here, look at this quote. And there's an institution called the International Association of Chiefs of Police. There's 14,000 law enforcement agencies who are part of this organization. The home run, the World Series trophy, the Super Bowl of awards is the Weber CV Award. Wichita's been lucky enough to win it twice. It's coveted. No one gets it. It's very rare to get it. We've actually won it twice. First, for our prostitution map. Janet Reno calls up Mayor Bob Knight and says, hey, congratulations, you've won the Weber CV Award. And he says, and I quote, I've had incredible privileges in the last 17 years, but I've never had anything like this before. The city has confronted enormous challenges. We are facing them with success. We have implemented community policing in our community and made an important investment in our future. And to all Wichita police officers, you have the most difficult job in America, and you are doing it with extraordinary distinction. Even Bob Knight was, in his entire political career in Wichita, he was so proud of that moment. We won it again for the Plainview Activity Camp for Kids in 2003, which was where we gave kids something to do in the entire summer rather than hanging out and being loose to run the streets in Plainview. So we targeted, I mentioned the 2,866 crimes gang members committed. So we got with county corrections. County corrections and I implemented gang mapping or violent crime mapping. So if you're a documented gang member through the city of Wichita, and you have a history of 3 arrests, 3 suspect cases in the Broadway maps, we recommend you for mapping. That goes to your parole, or parolees have parole officers. If you're through county corrections, you have an intensive supervision officer. ISO is what they're called. Recommendation goes to the ISO. We say, hey, if you want to be on corrections, this is one of the punishments, not punishments. This is one of the programs we're going to institute you on. Are you okay with that? If they volunteer, they sign it. The judge signs it as an order of their probation, signed off by a judge. Before COVID, I asked Kansas Department of Corrections to come on. I explained the program to them, and then one day they got it approved. And then COVID happened, they stopped seeing the parolees in person. Kind of necessary for them to sign the paperwork. So in February this year, they came back on board. We were in the process of implementing our first list of gang members and parolees for just crimes committed by parolees in our high crime areas. This is about 10 hours of information I give to other officers. You're getting in as little amount of time as I can. I was kind of skipping over a lot, but in a very minute nutshell, that is the mapping programs we have right now. We have city mapping, which is a crime just through the city of Wichita. We have drug court, which is condition of their probation. We have gang mapping through county corrections or violent crime mapping, which is a condition of their probation. And we now have Kansas Department of Corrections, which is a condition of their parole. Anybody have any questions? That's about 10 hours.
Yes.
Real quick. Yes, sir.
Yes, you mentioned the individuals that can be arrested and charged in these areas. Does that include the recruiters and the pimps?
No.
Why the heck not?
Because if you're talking about prostitution mapping, there is a crime for to recruit. There is a crime, but according to how our ordinance is written, it has to be for prostitution itself, either solicitation or the act thereof.
So again, why don't we have
That's just the way the laws written.
So why don't you put that on your agenda for next year?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We need to
state
kick,
law.
yeah, we
No,
need
this
to
is a
kick
city
the right
ordinance.
people
City
to the
ordinance.
curb here.
It's a 5.62.215.
Bruce, because they punish the wrong people.
Well, yeah, that's never.
But that's
Yeah,
neither
but we
here
gotta
nor
go
there.
there. All right, let's go there, okay?
My
Let's get these
question is
people.
around, if they're a parolee
Mhm.
and they already have all these gates that they have to jump through.
Yep.
they're not gonna decline this.
Well, they can, and an
Well, they
example.
can, but
Yeah.
they're probably not going to because their parole is contingent on a lot of things,
Lot
but
of
that's
things.
not my question. The recidivism,
Mhm.
you're going after people that have already served their time and they're on parole instead of, is there data that supports this program specifically violating their Fourth Amendment and making them not be able to go into this
Well,
area?
Two
There's
things.
enough data to support that specific program instead of going after another large group of people?
Well, let me give you a bit of a correction. You said that they've already served their time. If you're on
Right.
parole, you're in the process of serving your time.
But there's
Would you-
enough data to support that?
Well, hold on. You said they're still in the process of serving their time. An example to give, maybe it'll make more sense to you, is if I'm convicted of molesting a 10-year-old child, and it's time for me to get on parole board says, yes, it's time, we agree you should be on parole. One of the conditions you have is, guess what? You can't be around any child under the age of 16. If you don't agree with that, you don't have to go on parole.
Is that what the Broadway corridor is for child molesters?
Broadway corridor is a high crime, and it's by city ordinance designated a high crime area.
For that crime that you just said?
Yeah, for sex
For
crimes,
child-
absolutely.
Okay,
For sex crimes, yes, ma'am.
so that's targeting for, but it's a broader swath than that,
What is, ma'am?
everyone that's being targeted for that.
Well, they're not being targeted for it. If they have a history of violent crime in that area,
It's for violent offenders then.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know who was included in this.
Well, you have 4 programs. You got the prostitution mapping, you have the gang mapping through county corrections, the gang mapping through state, and then you have the drug courts. We're targeting drug offenders, violent crimes, and prostitution.
So drug offenders are also included, even though that's not violent crime.
Yes, ma'am. We have 4 programs. Each program does its own thing.
I don't think a drug offense necessarily has a victim in your triangle.
It absolutely does, ma'am. Society, that's exactly the charge.
That's debatable, but that's my opinion.
100% not debatable, ma'am. It's actually written in the state law.
So just to kind of sum it up, I think this is one of the tools that we use,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Within the Wichita Police
Yeah.
Department, as we're trying to make sure that we provide a good quality of life for the residents of our community
Yeah.
and to provide a
The-
safe environment. So
Yes, ma'am.
mapping is something that can really help. I used to work in the
Yeah.
health department years ago, and HIV STD prevention was under my area. And we called it clustering, but it was kind of a similar concept so that we could find trends and look for ways to try and mitigate the spread.
And to clarify, the city only has one mapping program, and that is the city prostitution. County has 2, and the state
It
has
has
1.
one.
I just want to make sure we're not targeting people that have already been targeted. That was the.
These are all people who are still serving their sentences.
Any questions from our virtual DAB members? Don't want to forget you.
Before you move on, I do have a couple of
Yes,
other
please.
questions. So one of the
Please.
things that was brought up spurred you on to say that would be something to improve the program. Do you have any recommendations? I know that we only have one program that's part of the
Yeah.
city. So do you have any recommendations for us as a DAB or for Councilwoman Becky Tuttle
That's a great
to
question.
take back to say, this is some things that could improve this program to help make this even better?
Thought you were gonna go a different direction. I like the question you asked. I thought you were gonna, okay.
You can answer the
Yeah.
question you thought I would ask too.
No, I thought you were gonna.
Maybe it was a better question.
My question, well, I thought you were gonna say, what do you recommend to solve to help the Broadway corridor? And I was gonna say mental health. And I was gonna have mental health is always an issue.
Yeah.
Down there. But as the DAB, I love that you guys, prior to being a community police officer, I didn't go to DABs. I just didn't, as a private citizen, maybe I should have. But I love that you guys have public forums. I love that you're open-minded to hearing new things. But you mentioned tweaking the law. The law is like anything else. This one was enacted in Wichita in 1994. Maybe it's time to tweak it a little bit. One thing I would love to see changed about the law is and it's different from the other mappings. If you're convicted, if you're even arrested on South Broadway for picking up a prostitute with our body cameras, we have so many plea bargains because everything's on tape now. You're banned from South Broadway, but we see it the next day on North Broadway. So I would love to see if you're mapped from one, because all it does is displace the crime rather than solve the issue at hand. So I would love to see that change if we're going to change anything about it. Because South Broadway and North Broadway have very similar criminal traits. They just do. Old Highway 81 or Highway 81 Broadway Reason why we have the motels there is because that was how you got into Wichita. In the seventies, the interstate system came into play. No one used Highway 81, Broadway, but the motels are still there. So the motels are now being used as temporary housing rather than the commuters that they originally were for. So,
Okay. I have one additional question.
Yeah.
So you referenced another area that was previously mapped and on East Central.
Yeah.
And does that still exist for one?
Yeah, it still exists. It's
Okay.
still along Wichita.
Okay.
But I have minute bit of that because I have my beat, 42 beat does go up to Central and Hydrox, Central and Interstate. I have a very small sliver of that. I don't see a prostitution problem there. That's
Okay.
just me. 5 of the beats share that, so maybe they see something I don't.
Okay, so I guess when you started describing this and you identified areas in town where this was a problem.
Yeah.
Before you even said it was on Broadway.
Right.
The rest of the DAB knew that
Yeah.
that's where you were talking.
Yeah.
And this law's been on the books since 1994.
Correct.
So how do you feel as far as a success rate for where we were from 1994 to today in 2022? And this, I should have phrased this earlier because it's how do we make it better? If we aren't where we would have hoped in 1994, what else do we need to be doing?
I think
on Broadway?
the quick answer is to throw money at the problem, throw money by revitalizing the area. Much like Old Town we did, much like Delano we did. Broadway has a ton of potential. We have city offices down there, we have hospitals downtown, but we still have the old motels from the 50s. I would love to see that change to something more useful. I know there's talk about opening up a new mental health hospital here in Wichita. We desperately need that as a community, let alone as a law enforcement. There's so many, and ICT one, you guys, I would love to see them quadrupled in staffing and in hours. They don't work on Mondays. They work limited hours.
We just had a 2-hour budget retreat for council and the mayor today with finance and ICT one, and mental health was one of the topics for sure.
That is huge.
Yeah,
on
we
Broadway.
have ARPA funding or relief funding, and we've dedicated, we haven't voted yet, but I'm sure we will be dedicating funds to mental health and substance abuse. And ICT one is one of the biggest, so if you're not familiar with the ICT one, it was a pilot project my first year. It's with the city and the county, and it's, so we have a social worker, an EMT, and police. And it's for calls that we know are, kind of frequent flyers. There could be mental health. And so that way the social worker is there to do a soft referral to make sure people get where they need. And it's highly effective. All the data is showing it. It's great. The problem is that ComCare has, I think, a 40% vacancy rate right now. So they don't have social workers, and EMT is I think they have like 15%, don't quote me on that. So right now we can't expand until EMT and ComCare are staffed up. That's the issue.
What does ICT actually stand for?
ICT is our airport code, airport.
Yes, it's a-
ICT.
it's-
Wichita.
Yeah.
It's an abbreviation for Wichita.
For Wichita.
I have been
call
wanting
sign
to
is-
figure that, I've been
Yeah.
trying to figure that out for years.
Man.
Why didn't
It's our
you tell me?
international airport code.
So
is ICT.
I got a personal question for you.
Yeah.
I have an adopted daughter that has mental issues. And at 18, of course, she ran away.
Mhm.
And she ends up being trafficked, tattooed, forced into all kinds of things. And as a parent, I was totally helpless.
Mhm.
What can we do about that?
I would love to see a change made.
I mean, besides going out and killing somebody,
Right.
which my wife would not let me
Your
do.
frustration. I
She
understand
told
your
me I would do
frustration.
her no good in jail.
Mhm.
Okay, and you can understand a dad,
Oh, yeah.
okay? Yeah, she was stupid. Yeah, she made those decisions, but still. So what can we do?
Where I think you're probably stymied is the fact she was 18 and a legal adult.
Right, she's
Um,
a supposedly adult.
We have so many people that I deal with on a daily basis that just beg me, officer, do something, help me help my family. Like only a judge can, sign that order for a court commit. ComCare can under extreme circumstances, if they're right there in front of ComCare, they can sign a 24-hour hold, allowing us to get them in the hospital. The Good Shepherd's closed down, Osawatomie's cut their staff in half. We are incredible, we're in a drought for help. And I would love to see Kansas State, because I don't think it's anything Wichita can do, but I would see the state let us create new legislation to allow parents get before a judge more easily and say, please give me an order to give my child help or a loved one.
Yeah, that's not city, but I will tell you, and we can have a sidebar conversation, Bruce, because this is a very, it's probably not germane to this conversation, so be happy to meet
Why
with
am
you
I
anytime.
always doing that?
But there's an organization called ICT SOS, and their
Oh,
whole
yeah.
focus is human trafficking, and I'm on a child abuse prevention coalition, and we work with ICT SOS, so I'd be happy to help facilitate a meeting with them. You can volunteer, there's lots of things that you can do
Okay.
to be involved, so.
My daughter right now, she's in Wichita, she's calmed down, she's safe. She can point to a neighborhood and tell you who the head pimp is currently, and she's not involved anymore.
One of the glorious things about our program, is we have one gal, I won't say her name, we have one gal who just graduated from drug court last week. And I caught her the day after we mapped her off of Broadway, because of all for Broadway drug crimes. And I said, what are you doing on Broadway? We just mapped you yesterday. She goes, my boyfriend's in there doing meth right now. I have nowhere else to go. So by the end of the day, I moved her into sober housing. She said, officer, I've never used drugs again. She hasn't. She's one of
Whoa.
the 2 people in my 21-year career who stopped. So successful. She's got herself a benefactor. She made her LLC. She's now a nonprofit, and she's out shopping last week for housing. She's created a sober living community for women in county jail who want to get out and say, you know what, I'm in jail. I don't want this to happen to me anymore. And she's our bright shining star.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing
Yes,
that.
ma'am. Anything else?
Yes, Fred.
Point of information, it's true, ICT does stand for Wichita Airport, it's the international code. But in this case, ICT one is the integrated care team.
Yeah, it's both. Yeah, it's an acronym.
Do you have the?
I thought he was just asking about ICT.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you have the data you provide? Because I haven't heard the term mapping, and I was trying to look up some things while you were talking, and if that's, finding things on the Wichita City
Right,
website,
right.
WPD is
Oh, boy,
really
no kidding.
challenging, so.
Yeah, I can say I'm made and share it with you if you like.
What, I mean, it's just that, is that kept somewhere on WPD's website? Can you
No, we don't
provide
have-
the
yeah, no, ma'am.
statistics, is that, okay,
No, unfortunately, no. Did you write down the ordinance 5.62.245?
well, I mean, is it there?
Yeah, it's city ordinance, man.
No,
Oh,
I
the
mean,
data, no,
the
that-
da-
that'd been data from the 90s. And I wasn't around on the department then.
I mean, the current data for what you guys are doing, or any of that?
Yeah, I have the game mapping data here, yes, ma'am.
Okay, is that kept somewhere on the website?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay.
But if you want to coordinate, let me know.
Yes, yeah.
I'll be happy.
I'll
to.
give you
My email is on the DAP website.
my
Oh,
card.
that'd be better. Great. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Thank
well,
you.
thank
Yes,
you
ma'am.
very
All right,
much for
thanks so
being
much.
here. Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
service. Be
Thanks.
safe.
And your passion.
Yes, and your passion. It's clear, you're passionate. So last but not least, we have CUP 2022-00008, and Stephen is joining us, correct?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. This is a minor amendment to CUP DP 166, which is a Lake Point residential subdivision CUP. It is located on the west side of North Webb Road and within 1/2 mile south of East 13th Street. Do you want me to share my screen? I can go through the maps. Or Corey can scroll through the PDF if he has that handy.
I just gave you permission to share if that's easier for you.
Okay. Let's see. Share. Okay. So this is the general location. The bold outline there with the arrow above it are the lots that are affected by this. Normally, this would be a zoning action, a variance, because the zoning code only allows an 8-foot fence within a setback area by code, and you would have to apply for a variance. However, since this is in a CUP, which you can tailor the zoning, we decided that we could amend the CUP to allow for this and put in language under general provision 17, stating that a 10-foot fence may be constructed within the rear setback on those lots which back up to North Webb Road only. Let me scroll down to some of the other maps here. This is the Lake Point CUP. The lots along Webb Road right here, you can see the hand moving, the cursor, are the lots affected. That is the language we are proposing. This is a zoom in of the aerial showing the address numbers and the position along Webb Road. The area is zoned SF5 single family. However, the lots on the north end of the CUP, this lot is within the CUP, and these additional lots are part of Collegiate School. And then to the west is the Wichita Country Club. Also to the north, you have a little bit of general commercial and general office. And then on the east side of Webb Road, it is zoned general or limited industrial. However, that is the beach private park. According to the comprehensive plan, the area in question is in conformance, being primarily residential, and the lighter tan shade and the crosshatch is a mix of residential and commercial development. This is a picture of the fence along Webb Road. I did verify that it was 10 feet high. And this is showing some of the condition along there due to age and weather and time. It is in definite need of replacement. This is looking south along Webb Road. All Start Sports is to the south past this subdivision. This is looking north along Webb Road. And this is looking across Webb Road to the beach park facility. This picture is actually on the north side of the residential development. This property here is part of the Wichita Collegiate School. And I did verify this fence on the northern edge is actually an 8-foot fence. We are making the finding that it is in character with the neighborhood. The proposed allowance would fit the neighborhood character, and it has already been in place for several years. The proposed allowance is suitable for the use which it is being restricted, and approval of this application will not or is not anticipated to have a significant detrimental impact to public health, safety, or welfare, or to have a negative impact on community facilities. So do you have any questions?
Bruce, and then Tim.
This, Stephen, forgive me, I don't speak planning. This looks like you're going to replace an existing fence that's already been zoned for. So.
Well, it was not zoned for. We're not exactly sure how it got here, if it was there for a long time before, maybe the subdivision was built. We don't have any record in our GIS along here of a case, which would take us back to 2000. And there's just kind of a gap here in terms of how did this occur, but it has been in place for the last 10 years. And one thing I would add to this is, given the drop off of with the slope from Webb Road down to this, without a 10-foot fence, these people would have very little screening. You would probably be down to only a 4 or 5 foot fence height in some areas. And then there's the noise factor off of Webb Road.
Bruce, great question. I asked the same thing. I'm like, this fence has been there forever.
We
What's the problem?
Yes, yeah.
So I said I've been driving by like a non-conforming
Whose
fence.
property is this fence on? Is this city property or? It's
It
on
is
my-
on the property, it is on the property line of these 13 addresses that back up to Webb Road.
And the property owners are paying for it.
The
Yes, we are.
homeowners association.
No, the property owner, so I'm sorry, I'm Chris Mahan. I represent the property owners. I'm one of the property owners. And so 9 neighbors that back up, we are paying for the fence. We paid for the engineering. We paid to file the application and we'll be paying to get the CUP updated also. So yes, we are all paying for this.
Great, thank you for being
Yeah,
with
this
us.
is the craziest
Okay.
decision I've ever had to make.
You're gonna have to
I
take
vote
it.
yeah. Let's
Tim.
do it.
Tim the plan.
And we have Jennifer and Tim, and then we'll go to Jennifer.
There is nothing that isn't perfectly reasonable about this request from a planning perspective. I do have a question for you, Steve, and that is this. What is the definition of fence in this CUP? I ask that because I would be amenable to there being allowed to put in a wall rather than another wooden fence at this location.
Well, a fence would normally be a wood structure or chain link or something like this. For the privacy and screening needs, there would be a wood fence. We do use the term wall in the code. If they wanted to do something of that sort, you could do that within the setback. I don't know that it would affect the decision on this case.
We did explore that option, so I apologize for butting in here, but we did explore the option of putting in a brick fence or a stone fence. And because this sets in a low area, we needed to have a gap between the ground and the fence itself for water to flow through. So we were concerned about damage to a more solid structure. So we're able to create a gap that water can flow underneath. And actually in a couple of locations, we have to have a swinging gate because a creek crosses underneath the fence. So the actual fence will lift up when there's large water flow coming off of that beach, the beach pond that sits out there, that lake. But it would be, to get back to your original, I think, question, we plan to replace it with an existing 10-foot cedar fence. It'll have a similar look, but it'll be newer and updated.
And Tim, I did confirm you can vote. We all got sworn in and we'll get you sworn in after this. And I appointed everybody last week, but I did confirm with the clerk or with Janet that you can vote on this issue. You can vote on this issue, yeah. And we'll get you sworn in, but you can vote. If you were brand newly appointed, you couldn't. But nobody's expired because I got you last week. So just FYI. Jennifer. We have lots of.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. So I drive past this fence 5 days a week to take my daughter to school, and it is such an eyesore. So I'm happy that something is in the works to fix this fence. But I just wanted to understand kind of the timeline. And I guess my concern was, will another wood fence kind of stand the test of time, or is there any other materials? You kind of already covered that, but is the wood fence kind of the best option?
Yeah, so the fence right now is 30 years old. So that fence was built in the early 90s. My house was built in 92. And so the fence is right at 30 years old. So it's withstood the test of time with the exception of trees falling on it. So we've picked a contractor. We've got to clear out some trees. The timing on it is as soon as, if you guys approve it tonight, I have to get the CUP updated. There's a 2-week waiting period from last Thursday when the Metropolitan Area Board on Commission approved it. So there's 2 weeks from that. And then the contractors already started buying the supplies, because supplies are obviously in short demand or in high demand right now, in particular wood. So he's already started buying the wood that we're going to need to replace this fence. So as soon as it's approved, as soon as I get the CUP down to the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission, I'll be able to start actually doing this. So the plan is to start in less than 3 weeks.
Awesome.
And I'm sorry you've had to drive past it 5 days a week.
I know it is such eyesore. So then my secondary question is, like you mentioned, so many trees have fallen on the fence. Who's responsible for kind of trimming the trees and kind of general maintenance for that area?
The homeowners are, yes.
Okay. Is there any discussions on what they can do to kind of mitigate some of the trees being overgrown?
Yeah, Jennifer, so it will not actually, the fence can't start until that's all done. So everybody has that lined up. We've been waiting for these 2 meetings to happen before we started this process, because it's going to be hard for me to get the other 8 neighbors to agree to an 8-foot fence, quite honestly. We've had meetings for 2 years about this fence and finally came to a conclusion of, hey, we got to get this done. This is how we got to do it. And then when we went to file the permit, we realized the zoning issue with the 8-foot fence. We're like, well, it's a 10-foot fence. And so we've gone through this process, and the last step is meeting with you guys.
Very good. Thank you.
Let's get this wrapped up for you.
Yeah, Chris, we appreciate your tenacity. Thank you very much.
So basically, it's zoned for an 8-foot fence, it's been a 10-foot fence. This is stupid.
I would entertain a motion.
Set these people free.
You know, I've seen that fence for 40 years.
I think Rowan was the first person that I saw that said he wanted to make a motion.
I'm telling you, this is a crazy thing.
Is there a second?
Oh, yeah.
Sam, we'll get you on the board. All those in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Anyone opposed? All right.
Should have been
Thank
done
you,
5 years
Stephen.
ago.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Sorry you had to go through all this.
Congratulations.
Oh, my goodness.
I know, I can't wait to drive by the new
Thank you,
fence.
Stephen.
All right, so just a reminder,
All right.
you guys, we shall never have a better CUP than that.
No kidding. That should be recorded.
It is recorded. It is recorded. So our next district advisory board meeting is going to be Monday, May 9th. Same place, same time. We'll still have the virtual option. Thank you for everyone on the district advisory board for your service. I truly appreciate it. I tell my colleagues on council all the time, my DAB is my happy place. So this is where I come and just to get to be with people who I know care about the community. So thank you to each of you. It was my honor to reappoint you all last week at the city council meeting. And thank you,
Thanks for
Corey.
doing that, by the way.
Yes, of course, my pleasure. Corey, thank you for all you do to keep us organized and on track. We appreciate it.
Yeah, he
And
does all
we will
that
see
too.
you on May 9th, but I would entertain a motion for adjournment. Sam
Second.
and Bruce, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say bye. Bye. See you next month.